So in the first 4 games of these 5 years that you've been here, the Bulldogs have been 12-8. We have won every game 5, and every game 5 has propelled us into what would be the district campaign when we've gone undefeated all 4 years. So 12-8 in the first 4 games of each of the seasons, 43-1 in game 5 on. This one's been a big one for you in the past, hasn't it?
It has. A game 5 is a confidence game. It's the game that, it tells you how you're rolling in the district, with a lot of confidence or a lot of question marks. And we've had some question marks last year after Nacogdoches, obviously, and we really stunk it up over there. And then we did have a lot of question marks. We had a bye week. We thought we got them. Or we had center. I'm sorry, we had center, and we thought we got some questions answered. And then we had the bye week, and we got some kids healthy. And then, we rode on through district. But, game 5 is a key game. There's no question. And like I said, if you can win game 5, and you got a lot of confidence going into game 6, which is district.
Now, you mentioned last year there were a lot of question marks after the Nacogdoches game. In fact, I've mentioned this story before that with the Bulldogs playing so well, I've always told Beverly, don't plan anything for traveling at Thanksgiving. And I came home after the Nacogdoches game and I said, okay, let's go to Alabama for Thanksgiving, because I didn't think we'd be around, Scott. And sure enough, I had to drive home from Alabama on that Friday and then get in the vehicle and go over to Corsicana for the Argyle game. So tell us this year, how do you view us after Game 4 with some question marks compared to last year with the question marks that you had?
Well, just a little bit more, or quite a lot more inexperience, at the quarterback spot, at running back spot, receivers. Pope's got experience, the rest of them do not. We do have an experienced tight end, which is playing great. Clint Cage is really playing well for us, and we're experienced on the offensive line. We've got a lot of new starters up there, so offensively we're inexperienced. I think defensively we're ahead of the game right now. And me saying that, you said 298 yards. Well, I think 65 or 70 were the last drive on the fake punt where we just fell asleep, and we knew we were up 14, and we didn't even send the guy back. We called, our base defense stack cover 2, and we had a couple guys fall asleep, and we had him double covered, and they just didn't think the guy was going to throw it. He thought he was going to punt it. So it was inexcusable, but that probably gave up 65 or 70 yards. So I know the first half they didn't have hardly any, and I think we didn't play with the intensity that we wanted to play with the second half for sure. But I think we're ahead. Special teams, we're getting closer and closer. We do have an inexperienced kicker, but he's getting better as we speak. I know he missed the field goal, but other than that, he kicked great last week and punted great. And I think our special teams were probably ahead. And everywhere beside and we did have some big kick return last week, but everybody's kicking it deep to us. And last year, everybody sky kicked it or cross kicked it. So I think we still got a lot more question marks. There's no question about it, and inexperience on offense, and but I think again, defense and special teams, I think we're either right there or ahead right now.
All right. So ahead on the defense, in your opinion?
I think so. I think that with the linebackers we have and the front four coming on, and then we do have some experience in the secondary with Michi Bowman at corner, and of course Pope at safety. And, of course, Shannon played a bunch last year. Tasker Shannon played a bunch back there last year. So we do have some experience in the back end of it. So, and I think we can stop the run now. I think the kids have woke up and really stopped the run pretty well. So.
All right. Let's talk about next week. Now, incidentally, we will be taping next week for a pigskin preview show with Coach Surratt, even though we're not playing. What are you going to do next week during the open week?
Well, I did tell the team, if we played well, if we won, number one, and we played well, then we would take Saturday and Monday off. After school Monday, we'll come in and watch a tape and maybe lift a little weights Monday, and then take Monday afternoon off, and then go to work on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And if everything looks good, we'll take off Friday also. I think it's very, very key right now that everybody's fresh, coaches included. Mm-hmm. So if we look sharp Friday night, you won't see the coaches up at the field house just unless they decide they don't want to be around their wife or something. No, I'm just kidding. But as long as if they're on their own, they can be up there. But don't come up there, to watch film or anything like that, because I think it's very key. Like I said, coaches be fresh, but then the players be fresh. But again, if we don't play well, then we'll be there Saturday, and then we'll work out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It's an incentive deal.
Now, one thing that you've mentioned several times in our interviews this season is the intensity level. I know you weren't happy with it against Lindale. You were against Chapel Hill. I hear you saying that you were not thrilled with it in parts of the game against Nacogdoches. Where do you see our intensity compared to last year?
That comes with an inexperience too, I think. We've got to play intense every game. You've got to get yourself, if it takes you 30 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever, each player's got to think about what they're going to do and have a lots of intensity. That's the only way you can be the best you can be. And also that goes for coaches. It was really, we felt like we were better than Nacogdoches going in, and then we jumped up ahead of them, and then we kind of really went real flat and didn't score it right before half. It was, kind of a downer. And then we came out and we were talking about being intense, and we executed all the way down the field, and then we threw the big interception, and here we go again. I thought the defense did a great job, but then I thought the offense turned it up. But as far as intensity from last year to this year, we got to have that one leader, and it can't be a coach. And we're looking for that one leader to get the whole team going, and we still hadn't found that as far as, getting them to focus. I'm not saying we got to be rah-rah or cheerleaders or anything, but that one guy that when he looks in their eyes or he says something, everybody look. Talking about Andre Granger, a coach, he's a quarterback coach now at Waxahachie. If we wasn't playing intense at Waxahachie, he could get if there was 100 people on the team, he could get 200 eyes looking at him, or 198 eyes looking at him, and they were focused. He could get them focused within a heartbeat, and that's what we're looking for. That one guy that when he talks, everybody listens. And it can be coaches, but coaches do it all the time. It needs to be that one guy that said, "Hey, he's serious." And
Now, I think I know the answer to this question. Who was the person that they listened to last year?
Well, it's definitely, we had a couple, and that's always a positive. Anthony Morgan and Kendall Thompson, and of course Jalen Claiborne. We had 3 or 4 guys that were always business. You never saw Jalen Claiborne not come out, and he was always business, getting better every day. And Anthony Morgan, Hunter Holland. I mean, you had guys that you could depend on being your leaders. Pope's that way. We'd like him for you to be a little bit more vocal. In that way, but he is a great leader. He works every day, but he needs to be our vocal leader. He knows it.
All right, now give us a report card last week, JV, freshman, junior high.
Junior high, we won both games, 7th and 8th grades undefeated, and I think we got some good groups coming. And then the 9th grade ended up tying. We got down there late in the ball game and didn't score, and then the JV we won, so we went 3-0-1. So we were undefeated at every level. We didn't lose a game at any level. So I don't know if it's a sweep because it was a tie. So, but very excited about our young play, and we'll have some challenges. Center's always good at the junior high level, always really good at junior high level. So we'll have some challenges tonight over there. But we're very excited about our young groups.
All right, now summarizing the varsity, what I hear you saying is if we play well, we should win. You're looking for more than that. You're looking for the Bulldogs with some intensity and turning up a notch, right?
Well, the way we look at it, like I said, every game's important to win. There's no question about it. It's reading you play. But we're worried more about ourselves than we are anybody else right now, and that's the way we've been, from game 1 through 5 each year. Obviously we want to be 5-0, and we've only achieved that goal once, but we got the big picture in mind that as long as we're getting better and we're worried about us instead of them, and then let the outcome be what it'll be. But as long as we get better, we feel like that we can compete.
All right, tonight at Center, 7:30 kickoff, Center Roughriders, Carthage Bulldogs, final pre-district game of the year. Hope you can join us there in person. If you can't, then we'll have the broadcast for you on KGAS right after 7 o'clock. We'll take a look at the starting lineups. For Coach Surratt, I'm Larry Allen, wishing you a great weekend. So long, everyone.